Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am your host, Vortex from MobileMusicPro.com, your home for mobile music production. And today we're going to be continuing our series on songwriting shortcut apps. Now, the apps that we're talking about in this series can really help you defeat beat block and songwriter's block, provide inspiration, and even teach you more about music theory. Now, in our last video in this series, we covered chords and chord progressions, and of course, we'll make sure to put that link in the description below. But today we're going to be dealing with apps that help you write and generate melodies. And please guys, if you think we forgot any apps in this series, make sure to comment down below so we can all keep learning together as a community. And speaking of community, we just really wanted to thank you all for the reviews on iTunes. And for all those that are actually listening on the audio version of this podcast, we'd really appreciate a review from you. And remember folks, this is the second video in this series. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned, because next up in the series, we'll be covering basslines and arpeggios. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this content and want to help our efforts in educating more people about mobile music production, make sure to hit that thumbs up below. And of course, share out the show on all the social media channels. So without further delay, let's get into the second part of this series of songwriting shortcut apps, Melodies. And the first app we'll be talking about today is Groovebox Beat and Synth Studio by Amplify Music and is available for free with in-app purchases. Groovebox is a free, beautifully designed music studio app packed with inspiring synths and drum machines. In minutes you'll be making beats, melodies, and playing with great sounding instruments. And the ability to generate chords, notes, and bass lines to help you get inspired is incredibly useful and is what we're here to talk about today. So as you can see, we have Groovebox pulled up here. And Groovebox again is a groove machine, so it comes with a number of instruments, including a drum machine, a polyphonic synth, a bass line synth, and a lead synth. What we're going to be focused on today is the polyphonic synth and the lead synth. So let me just play what I have generated here, and keep in mind that everything that you see here was created with the generate button, which is the random button here, which you can access by clicking the three dots and then clicking the random button on each one of these machines. So let's play what we've generated for you now. Okay, so let's click the button on the far left-hand corner so we can access the piano roll. And as you can see here, we can see the notes that were generated for us. And of course, we can at any time begin to fill in the notes ourselves, simply by tapping on any of the keys that you'd like. And what we'll do now is show you how this app generates melodies by clicking the ... menu, which reveals the extended options, including the random feature. So we'll just tap on that random feature. And let's start playing and see what we get. So as you can see, it does generate a bunch of great melodies that can help you get inspired and that you can modify at any time. Now it will generate melodies based on what pack that you currently have selected. So if we tap on almost over and reveal all of the packs that we currently have, so for example, if you click on a trap preset pack and then click on one of the trap presets, it will generate a melody based on that genre. And now let's do the same thing for the lead synth. Let's play what we have currently and then start generating. And this random generation function will work for every single one of the 4 machines available in the Groovebox application. And to export the audio that you've created or generated in any one of these machines, you can always click the share button at the top right hand corner of the app and choose either the selection mix, project files, or directly go to Ableton Live. Okay, second up on our list today is Riffer by Audio Modern. Riffer is a creative MIDI sequencer that generates random patterns and melodies for you, designed to feed any synth, sampler, drum machine, and anything that accepts MIDI signal, both software and hardware. Now we have Riffer pulled up here, and as you can see, it might be a little complex at first, but once you know which controls to really switch, it becomes pretty easy. So let's just play the pattern that we have generated here for you real quick. So you can generate all sorts of different patterns and at different lengths. So as you can see at the bottom left hand corner, we have our steps and loop. This is where you want to see how long you want to make the loop. So let's just change this to 8 and change the loop to 8. And you'll see that our grid gets a whole lot smaller. Then we have the pitch range here on the left hand side that you can decide how many notes you want to be generated in the sequence. So we'll just choose a few here. And in the far left hand side, you can see we have the quantization, and again, this is how long you want your notes to be. Currently we have this set to 1/8 notes. We can change this to 4th notes, and let's generate again. And click play. And every time you click this generate button here, it will generate a new sequence. Let's just take this range down a little bit, so that it has a little bit fewer notes to work with, and we'll change this to 16 so it's a little bit faster, and let's click generate. And if we want to speed this up, let's go ahead and change the quantization to 1/8 notes. And over here, on the far right hand corner, we can see this infinite loop, and this will actually generate a brand new sequence automatically without having to click the dice button. So Riffer does have a little bit of a learning curve, but once you find the right buttons and knobs to tweak, you can actually get to where you're going pretty fast. Alright, next up we have the Rozeta Sequencer Suite by Bambos. Rozeta is a suite of MIDI sequencers and controllers that lets you explore a new free-form approach to sequencing and controlling mobile music apps. The app contains a total of 10 MIDI audio units, and the ones we're going to be talking about and diving into today is just 2 of them, which is Collider and Rhythm. So as you can see here, we have the Rozeta Collider app pulled up, and it has a nice little generate button down here, which comes in pretty handy when you want to find new sequences. Now let's go ahead and click play and see what we have for default sound. As you can see, the notes will go up and down this grid. We can adjust the grid size here by making it either smaller or larger. And as you can see on the right hand side where it says hadrons, those are essentially the circles that go around the grid and create notes. You can choose how many you'd like to have. You can increase or decrease the hadrons by clicking the left and right hand arrows here. So let's change this to an 1/8 grid, and then we can choose the velocity as well to see how loud we want it, and we can adjust the pitch to see how low or high we want these notes generated. So right now we're in a D minor scale. Let's go ahead and click generate and click play. So in the bottom right hand corner, you can see we have a gate length and clock divider. And these will really help you decide how long you want your notes. On the left hand side is where you can choose your scale. You can make this anything you'd like. We have it currently set to D minor. And there's a few other options over here like collision bounce and collision sound as well that you can play with. We also quickly wanted to show you another app in the Rozeta suite, which is called Rozeta Rhythm. And this app makes it really easy to generate melodies and rhythm patterns. So if we go ahead and click on the button on the left hand side and then click generate, we will immediately have a pattern to play. So let's click play. So we we can just keep generating patterns all day long, and we can adjust the settings here on the left-hand side. So as you can see, another great tool in the Rozeta suite for getting inspiration and generating some melodies. Next up in our list of apps today, we have Autony by Pagefall Limited, available for $3.99. This is an AUV3 MIDI sequence generator which generates musical evolving sequences that you can further automate or modulate via MIDI. A clever algorithm creates a musical sequence which is outputted as a MIDI signal which can be used to drive a software synthesizer or a hardware device of your choice. So we have Autony pulled up here again within our DAW of choice, cubasis here. And as you can see, it's a pretty simple app. There's only a few controls here. In fact, there's only about 9 knobs to play with and a generate button. So let's just see what it comes up with by default and click play. There's a number of options here, including the clock unit, transpose, scale, and gate and sequence length. So let's go ahead and change this to maybe a bit longer sequence to 16 notes. And let's go ahead and click generate. And let's click generate a few times actually. So let's click play and generate a few different melodies here. Autony is a pretty interesting sequence generator and has a lot of options and a very simple to use interface to get some results pretty quickly. And the final app today in this list is called Cykle by Corny. I cannot pronounce your last name. This app is available for $7.99. Now, Cykle is an innovative, semi-generative melodic step sequencer for iOS that is based around the idea of sequencing individual music parameters such as pitch, velocity, length, transposition, etc., independently by way of decoupled sequencer lanes. Now that sounds a little complex, but you'll see in the user interface here that it's pretty simple to understand. As you can see, we have these lanes, pulse, pitch, and length, and you can start getting into the details of each lane by clicking on it. So if we click on pulse, we can see we have a bunch of different options here, including the ability to click add and subtract. You'll find that the options for all of these different things are pretty similar here. So let's expand this to be a bit more full screen. You can see that once we expand the pulse, the pitch, and the length, they all have the option to add more notes here. So let's go ahead and add some more notes in the pitch by clicking the plus button. And we'll click plus a few more times on the length button. And then what we'll do is we'll click play to see what we have. Now it's pretty plain right now, but as you can see, each one of these lanes has a dice button. So let's go ahead and generate some notes by clicking these dice buttons. Just with these three options here, the pulse, pitch, and the length, you can get a pretty good variety of different options, and by clicking on the dice buttons, you do kind of get this instant inspiration to be able to find out what you want to use next. And there are some presets over here on the left-hand side that it comes with to get you started. We can click on a few of those as well. So all in all, a pretty interesting way to create melodies by separating out these individual properties into their very own individual lanes. Alright, welcome back everybody. We really hope this video helped you in some way. It's a lot of work to bring you these videos every week, so make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And remember, this is the second part in this series. The next series coming up will be focused on bassline and arpeggios. And also don't forget about our upcoming video, where we dive into a bunch of free DAWs to show people how you can make professional quality music on the iPhone and iPad completely free. And of course, all these apps in these series are just our suggestions, so make sure to leave any apps that you guys use that you think we left out in the comments below. And once again, we very much appreciate all your likes and all your thumbs up. We are almost ready to cross 500 subscribers on YouTube. And again, we couldn't do it without you guys, so thanks so much. We really do have a ton more content coming up this year. So make sure everybody stays tuned. So until next time, everybody, keep talking music, and we'll see you later.